can now rank the albums of 370 artists. Think about that, you punk rocker, you. Rock, country, rap, pop. I am up for the challenge. And today's challenge is The Cure. I'm told that I have a very unique take on album rankings most of the time, but I know as a Cure fan, you will have an open mind. The Cure are my 314th favorite band, and that's good, man. So let's just jump right in to ranking their albums worst to best. We got the 14th spot, and you know what? None of these are terrible. There's no Cure albums that are just trash. I'm not going to be hating on too many of these records. But I will tell you as we get into, we're going worst to best. Okay, it's self-explanatory. Number 14 is The Top from 1984. The album cover is not helping things any. That is atrocious on the eyes. Jeez. The Cure, again, don't have any terrible albums, but this one is jangly, fun, weird, and punky in spots. But I just don't have any songs that pull me into this project that make me want to listen to it again and again. Give Me It is a decent song, but I simply don't reach for The Top too much. Number 13 is 2000's Blood Flowers, and it's a real shame the record company wasn't able to promote The Cure in the late 90s and early aughts. Maybe someday, and The Last of Summer got enough attention that they could have done well on rotation in the radio. But alas, maybe the record company was more focused on Bjork or S Club 7 at the time, which is a real shame. That being said, let's blame record companies for everything, and not me, for not really being into this record. It's all right. It's all right. It's better than The Top. That's why Blood Flowers is above Top at the bottom. Number 12, best Cure record is 1981's Faith. The third record sees The Cure shaking things up with Smobber Rith not really touching the guitar and some other band members actually writing some tunage for a change. Now that we've got The Top, Flowers, and Faith out of the way, I really enjoy the rest of the Cure's discography a lot more. These are the three. If I had to throw a bunch of Cure music into the dumpster, Faith, Top, and Blood Flowers in the dumpster. Number 11 Cure album is Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me from 1987. This album may not be just like heaven, but it's pretty rad. Again, it's pretty rad. I'm sorry. It's pretty rad. Again, like Faith years prior, Robert Smith let other Cure mates throw ideas into the ring before he crafted a narrative over them. And it works well here with the sound that's heavier and more fun at the same time for The Cure. In the top 10, guys, the 10th best The Cure album is Wild Mood Swings from 1996. Wild Mood Swings came on during one of the greatest years of music. That's right, 1996, 97. Those are the greatest years of music ever in the history of the universe, time, space, and coffee. At least in the history that I can remember, being born in 1985. And Wild Mood Swings fits right into that really classic era of music, just for being great. That is. It doesn't sound like anything else released in 1996, and because Wild Mood Swings is a hodgepodge of multiple genres and attitudes, and Mint Car is just a bop. Number 9, and I feel like this is going to be the ranking that gets the comment section kind of riled up a little bit. But you guys know I just try to be honest with my rankings. And at the number 9th spot, 413 Dream. Is that bonkers, or is that a good place for it? This album, 413 Dream, It's a Frankenstein of multiple albums that Robert wanted to write, and even contains some songs written 23 years earlier in the past. There were massive themes and concepts that were just too big for the record. CDs were facing an uphill battle in 2008 already, and The Cure were frustrated with the constraints of releasing music during the CD era as it crashed down around them. And I'll admit, I was listening to this album on iTunes in 2008. Even with so many ideas and some of them not landing in the intended like desert of pain that he was shooting for, I like the songs on 413 Dream and feel like it's probably better than the 10,000 song opus that the band were plotting. Sometimes less is more, and this Dream is a pretty happy one. When I put on my headphones and listen to it, I get a lot of enjoyment out of 2008's 413 Dream. I feel like I need to be more serious for The Cure, but they have a sense of humor. They do have a sense of humor. It's very, that's what it is. Number eight Cure album, Three Imaginary Boys from 1979. What a bassy, fantastic, let's say it like Doctor Who, fantastic debut album. Funky, punky, groundbreaking, mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling this album will turn 50 in 2029, and that's when The Cure may retire on that monumental occasion of Three Imaginary Boys being like, they were boys in 79 and then 50 years has gone by. Crazy, crazy debut album. And you know, we're at the 8th spot and we're already like crazy good stuff. So, number 7 is even better. 2004's The Cure. Us and Them, Holy Poop. Angry Cure is Good Cure. The kids doing the album art, I don't know about that. Those kids are bad. Number 6, best Cure album goes to 17 Seconds, and the post-punk gothic rock of this album, I won't even ding the final sound because it's not really an interlude, is it? I am anti-interlude, by the way. Is it? Is it an interlude? It's a sound that flows into the trees of the forest. Play for Today, there's just some stellar songs across this 17 seconds of a record. Wait, get through this, man. It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. We're in the top 5 Cure records, and I don't even think I can say the name of this one. We're going to call it Shrimpography from 1982. Depression, burnout, and a big middle finger to everything and everyone as the Animals unalive. Yeah, this album is bleak, beating, and angry, and I love it. You don't always have to suffer like The Cure suffered for their art here, but it paid off well in the end, and everyone lived to tell the tale, even if Robert had to get a whole new friend group after it was all sung and done. That's right, I think he alienated everyone in his life while being an angry, dramatic rock star, while recording Shrimpography. And again, it all worked out. It's a really, really just great sounding record. It's just nasty and dire. And record company definitely not happy with the name of it. And it sold well anyway. So, number 4, the 4th best Cure record goes to an 80s record, 1989's Disintegration. That one, I can say Disintegration on YouTube. Can I say Disintegration? Is it offensive to anyone? No. A lot of people, well, if you live in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it might be offensive to you. We don't care, though. Disintegration. I shudder that all of this, Blink-182 reference, all of this existential crisis over turning 30 is just so bleak and wrought with overwhelming fear. 30, guys. 30. 30 is the new 18, okay? It's fine, all right? Like, wow, totally fine. 40, on the other hand, my birth year was a Bowling for Soup song. I was so young in 2005. Okay. I was young in 2005. I was 20, and now it's 2025, man. I'm sitting here making YouTube videos about The Cure. I'm happy. I'm happy about making this video. Disintegration, however far away, I will always love you. Like Whitney Houston, you know? Soaring heights of an album, great songs throughout the entire thing, classic tune after morbid classic tune. I really, really had a great time going back to Disintegration, and all of this I know now. Yeah, man, Disintegration, what a classic. But there are three albums better than Disintegration, so throw it in the dumpster with all the rest, because now we got the three really great Cure albums. And number 3 is Wish from 1992. Friday! Wish feels like it came out in the 80s and not 1992. That can't be right. That's like one of my own personal Mandela effects. Friday, that song, there's no way that was the 90s. That had to be, I saw it in the 90s, it had to be made in the 80s. I just feel like I heard it way before the 90s, and I don't even remember much of the 80s. But Friday, I'm in Love, it's one of the greatest songs of all time. Space and Coffee, too. Have a good day. If you got that reference, either way, if you got that one, ooh, you're like out there eating shoes and glass and stuff. We've got all the YouTuber phrases because hand claps never sounded so joyous and bouncy as they do on Wish. Oh yeah, the rest of Wish is great too. There's just no way that Wish came out in 1992. It sounds like it was ahead of its time, but its time was 1983. Somebody tell me, explain to me. There's no way Wish came out in 92. That just cannot be fathomable. I don't know if you guys are going to like my top 2 albums by The Cure, but we got to do it. And I do see, before I even start getting into it, these two swapped. I had a really tough time narrowing it down between these two, like which one's the best, which one's the second best. But number 2 goes to Songs from a Lost World from 2024. This one was originally going to be my number 1 choice. I've changed my mind since going through the entire catalog. The Cure in 2024 sound amazing, and because it's bugging me, I wanted to name some of their songs, which I'm also going to do with Stained in another video, but Stained and Cure don't have a lot of crossover fans, I'm sure. But The Cure, we got to do the list for The Cure. They have Subway Song, Kyoto Song, Plain Song, Love Song, War Song, End Song. Now 3 with spaces in between and 3 without spaces in between. Am I going crazy? Did I drink too much Bellevue water from Aldi? I think I'm just living in a lost world and rocking out to drone songs. This is a pretty perfect album in 2024. It was one of my favorites, and I know they had songs piling up for years, and I hope we get at least 2, maybe we get at least 2 more studio records from The Cure before that ominous 2029 retirement. Of course, Robert Smith has kind of, been open and honest about it. They might retire when their debut album turns 50. They might not. So maybe they'll keep going. Maybe they'll keep going like the Who or the Rolling Stones. We'll see. I would love that if just the Who and the Rolling Stones and the Cure, if they just kept going forever, that would be okay with me. Fleetwood Mac need to keep going. Who else? Aerosmith needs to come back and keep going. Boston, all those classic. Queen needs to come back, but we got to get back on track with the Cure and their #1 album of all time, Space and Coffee. And we've talked about the year a little bit already, with me being born in 1985. But #1 is The Head on the Door. And this album came out less than 2 months before I came out. And it's the Cure's best record on every list. Nobody can argue. Not Lester Bangs, not Hubert, not Mumbles. I know you're watching secretly, Mumbles. Not nobody. You do you, people. Except you, Lester. Don't you do you. I would want this record to play in its entirety at like a really chill party that I put on with like exactly 7 or 8 people, just getting a little buzzed, and that would be a perfect night. Can you imagine that? Just the Cure's The Head on the Door playing with like your 7.5 best friends, getting a little buzzed on Steel Reserves. Everybody wearing this Amazon Hawaiian shirt golf thing. It's atrocious. And yes, my pop sensibilities just eat up everything on here, like In Between Days. And Blink-182 have written at least 4 songs that owe 45% of their royalties to The Head on the Door. Good thing Robert Smith likes those guys. Those punk rocklers, punk rocklers and their alien conspiracies. I could go on about The Head on the Door, but it's just every song on Head on the Door is chef's kiss. Again, came out in 1985, which is a really good year. One of the best years behind 96 and 97, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun revisiting The Cure again in 2025. And, let me know how crazy this was, or if it was not crazy. And maybe you could give me some advice on, I'm working with a new background. So let me know if you want to see, like, you want the records behind me, you want the CDs behind me, different angle, whatever you want. There's Purple Slime over there. So I definitely want to hear your ranking of the Cure albums. Worst to best. Remember, that's the most important thing. Those bottom 3 records are trash. And then there's a bunch of pretty good stuff. And then there's like 3 almost perfect records. And yeah,